because there is a direct statute on point that says that if you try to kill a president, you violate that statute, and that puts the FBI in the lead.
And we do have a statement from the FBI's office, the National Press Operations Unit, saying, quote, the FBI has responded to West Palm Beach, Florida, and is investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of former President Trump.
Breaking news happening right now. This is the second attempt on Donald Trump's life within 2 months. I have the article from the Associated Press. We're going to go over it now together so you know exactly what's happening. The headline says Trump is safe after Secret Service opened fire at suspected person with firearm near his golf club. Let's take a look at exactly what happened. A man with an AK-style rifle pushed the firearm's muzzle through the perimeter of Donald Trump's West Palm Beach, Florida golf course on Sunday as the Republican presidential candidate was playing around, prompting U.S. Secret Service to open fire, according to 3 law enforcement officials. The former president is safe and unharmed. The person dropped the weapon and fled in an SUV and was later apprehended in a neighboring county, the officials said. The officials were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation and spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. An AK-style firearm was recovered at the scene near Trump's golf course, 2 of the officials said, and no injuries were reported. The incident was the latest jarring moment in a campaign year marked by unprecedented upheaval. It occurred roughly 2 months after Trump was shot during an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania and a bullet grazed his ear. Only a week later, President Joe Biden withdrew from the race. The golf course was partially shut down for Trump as he played, and agents were a few holes ahead of him when they noticed the person with the firearm, the officials said. There are several areas around the perimeter of the property where golfers are visible from the fence line. Secret Service agents and officers in golf carts and on ATVs generally secure the area several holes ahead and behind Trump when he golfs. Agents also usually bring an armored vehicle onto the course to quickly shelter Trump should a threat arise. Trump had returned to Florida this weekend from a West Coast swing that included a Friday night rally in Las Vegas and a Utah fundraiser. Trump often spends the morning playing golf before having lunch at the Trump International Golf Club, West Palm Beach, one of 3 he owns in the state. He has had a stepped-up security footprint since the assassination attempt in July. When he has been at Trump Tower in New York, a lineup of dump trucks have parked in a wall outside the building. And at outdoor rallies, he now speaks from behind an enclosure of bulletproof glass. The White House said President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential nominee, had both been briefed and would be kept updated on the investigation. The White House added they were relieved to know Trump is safe. Harris, in a statement, said she was glad Trump was safe, adding that violence has no place in America. In an X post, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of Trump's top congressional allies, said he had spoken with Trump after the incident and that Trump was in good spirits and was one of the strongest people he's ever known. The Martin County Sheriff's Office said in a Facebook post on Sunday that it had stopped the vehicle on northbound Interstate 95 and taken a suspect into custody who is believed to be connected to the shooting. The sheriff's office said it made the stop after authorities in neighboring Palm Beach County put out a be on the lookout alert. Sheriff William Snyder told WPTV that the suspect was not armed when we took him out of the car. The man had a calm, flat demeanor and showed little emotion when he was stopped by police, Snyder said, saying the suspect did not question why he was being pulled over. He never asked, "What is this about?" Obviously, law enforcement with long rifles, blue lights, a lot going on. He never questioned it, Snyder said. Attorney General Merrick Garland has been briefed on the situation and is receiving regular updates about it, a Justice Department spokeswoman said. The post by the Martin County Sheriff's Office indicated the suspect was apprehended near Palm City, Florida, about a 45-mile drive north of Trump's golf course. Northbound lanes of I-95 were shut down, the sheriff's office said. A message sent to campaign officials seeking information on the security status and location of Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, was not immediately returned. Max Agusquiza of Palm Beach described the emergency response outside Trump's West Palm Beach golf course. From what I saw, 5 black unmarked SUVs blocked in a gray Mercedes in front of the golf course. There were about 20 or more cop cars flying from nearby streets, he said. All right, now looking at X, we're going to play a few clips. The first one, it says, unbelievable. MSNBC suggests it's the Trump campaign who needs to tone down the rhetoric following a shooting at Trump Golf Club where Trump was playing golf.
Yeah. Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Because he's going to reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know, again, the source of any gunshot or gunshots. We don't know who's responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out. But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence, we don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past. And
now we're going to take a quick look at the post by the Martin County Sheriff's Office. It says northbound I-95 at 714 is shut down. Based on BOLO information released by Palm Beach County, the Martin County Sheriff's Office has stopped a vehicle and taken a suspect into custody believed to be connected to a shooting incident at Trump International in Palm Beach County. We will update this information as it becomes available. Let's take a quick look here at the vehicle. Looks like a dark black SUV. And now we'll take a look at Sean Hannity, who explains exactly what happened from his perspective.
Anyway, so long story short is President Trump, they were on the 5th hole, they were about to go up to putt, and the way Steve Witkoff, now just as a little bit of background, Arthel, I happened to go to breakfast with Steve Witkoff and another friend of mine this morning, and I was invited to play golf. They happen to be really good golfers. I don't have a lot of time to play golf, so I said thank you, but I'm not going to go out on the golf course and get killed out there. But long story short, so they were playing, they were on the 5th hole. And the way Steve described this, the way the president described it, they both had exactly the same story, which was that they heard pop, 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 pop. And Steve went into great specificity and great detail as to what happened right after. Within seconds, the Secret Service pounced on the president, covered him. You had snipers with tripods. They knew the direction where the shots had been fired, and they had eyes on the location where the shots had been fired. And long story short, they were. I have confirmed with both the president and with Mr. Witkoff that the gun has been found. They identified it as an AK-47. And thanks to Secret Service drone video coverage, they were able to identify one individual involved in this shooting getting into a car after dropping the AK-47. And my understanding, according to both of them, is that that car has been identified, and I believe it's been surrounded. Whether or not that person has been apprehended or not, I don't know. This happened in a matter of seconds. A little more color, a little bit more details on this is that when they got on top of the president, immediately what is called a fast cart that I believe has steel reinforcement and protection was able to whisk the president away. And then the Secret Service immediately sprung into action. They had eyes on where the shooting had occurred. I saw the New York Post report that these were two people shooting at each other outside the course. I do know, and they did confirm that the shots were outside of the course, but certainly seemingly within range of the former president. So we don't have any details on any of that. They don't know that part. I only know the part of what they experienced while they were playing golf at Trump International in West Palm. Thankfully, the president is safe. Steve Witkoff is safe. The Secret Service apparently acted with incredible speed and professionalism, and but certainly alarming in every way imaginable in light of what happened in Butler, as you mentioned.
Yeah, of course, this is very alarming. And Sean, have you spoken to the former president or texted with him?
I have spoken with the president 3 times since this incident, and each time I got a new piece of information. One, that they had found, first of all, what happened with the shooting. The second thing, that they had found an AK-47. Third, right, that their drone footage was able to give them enough surveillance to identify the exact car that the individual involved in the shooting got into. And further detail that they gave me was that they were updated and told that that car had been found, identified, was surrounded by law enforcement. I don't know what happened from there. It could not have been too far away. I would say the time frame was less than a half hour between the time that the shooting actually took place and they identified the car. So
I'm trying to find out, like, how is he doing? That's what we want to know. How is he doing, if you spoke to him?
You know, well, you really want to know the truth, Arthel? He goes, well, there's more details, because I did hear, and Steve Witkoff was very clear. The first thing the president did when he got back to the clubhouse was make sure that everybody else was okay. He didn't see his golf partner with him. Where's Steve? Where's Steve? Where's Steve? And then Steve says, I'm right here. He got in maybe a few minutes behind the president. The Secret Service was able to get everybody to safety. Everybody else was taken off the golf course. Then when the president found out everybody was safe and nobody had been harmed, I guess in typical fight fashion, Trump said to Steve, and then he related to me, I really wanted to finish the hole. I was even, and I had a birdie putt. And it was on the fifth hole, which shows a lot of, I think, guts and gumption, and very Trumpian, I guess, in every way. But, you know, the good news we can report is that in spite of this being in such close proximity to the president and others and the Secret Service, that they were not harmed and that they are in safety. And I know the investigation will go forward. Probably more details, I would imagine, as time unfolds.
Returned to the White House, but this event was not on any kind of public schedule, so it's not clear how this alleged lone gunman knew the former president would be playing golf today, and also at what time. We heard the president was on the 5th hole on the front 9 at Trump International. How did this lone gunman know? Perhaps he followed the motorcade. Of course, when the former president travels, he travels in a motorcade. He has Secret Service protection. But that is one of the things. If this was another potential assassin, how he had this information about where former President Trump was playing golf. Of course, he owns numerous golf courses in the state of Florida, Doral in the Miami area, but of course Trump International is the closest to Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, where he resides. That is one of the big questions we hope to hear in this press conference coming up shortly, Eric.
Yeah, and you know, even if you don't know exactly what his schedule is, if you're a local, you know that the former president plays golf. You can obviously see a police and a Secret Service presence. You can see the motorcade, and you know when that is happening. And we see a motorcade right now going over the bridge from Palm Beach over the bridge over to West Palm Beach.
It's not a far trip.
The former president spoke to Bret Baier, and Bret is quoting the former president as saying, quote, "Tell everybody I am fine, and the Secret Service did a great job." So in light of the new reporting that the Secret Service did what it's supposed to do, it saw a threat to the president, a potential threat, a man with an AK-47 within the vicinity of the former president on the street, a few hundred yards apparently away from the 5th hole. And the Secret Service agent did what they are trained to do, took out the service revolver, their weapons, and tried to stop this apparent suspect, this man with the gun.